Today's cocktail is the Blue Devil. The Blue Devil is a cocktail consisting of gin, blue curacao, and lemon juice, shaken with ice and strained into a chilled cocktail glass, garnished with a lemon slice. As you might imagine, the blue cocktail consisting of gin, which again, not my favorite spirit, but when offset with the blue curacao with the orange flavor and the lemon juice, you get a nice herbally, citrusy combination, and I love that blue color. Blue's my favorite color, and I love a nice blue cocktail. I've never had this particular variation on the martini, but it's definitely one that I could tolerate. You know, I like most flavored martinis in general. And again, I'm not huge on gin because of the herbal taste, drinking it straight, but once you mix it with the citrus, I find it a lot more palatable that way. So, as always, drink responsibly, and if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend the Blue Devil.
Okay, enough about the strippers.
Anyway,
let's talk about my baby, the white whale, my former baby. And I named it that for a reason, because, you know, Ahab. So as you know, I'm a Nissan guy.
Right.
And the roots of that run deep. When I was a little boy, someone I was related to owned one of these. Datsun 300ZX.
Hey, I mean, that's kind of fancy for, you know, late 70s, early 80s standards.
Well, yeah, and he's dude kept him some sports cars. So he had one of these when I was real young, about, I'll say, 79, 80 time frame. And then later on, he got one of these.
Ooh, I'm impressed.
Yeah, because that was the anniversary deal. He held that car for quite a while, actually. But I loved that car.
The fancy "Don't touch my car" car.
He would "Don't touch my car" car. I always thought they were cool, you know. And again, I'm a Nissan guy, so by the time I bought the White Whale, Blue Streak had come and gone, and these two cars, which I have not done a episode on yet, but these two cars had come and gone already. And I'll tell you the short version here. I tried to Frankenstein these two into one car. So, failed project car. 2 more failed project cars. Damn it, I'm gonna get me a Z that runs.
There it is.
And in the spring of 2013, now if you recall, in the fall of 12, my dad died.
Right.
And he left me a little bit of money. Not a lot of money, a little bit of money. But by the time I paid the taxes on that little bit of money and put a down payment on the house and paid off all my credit cards, I had just enough left over to go out and buy a medium price used car cash.
Oh, yeah.
And I drove by the damn Toyota dealer one Saturday morning and saw this sitting there. And I got close, and it didn't have any rust. It only had a couple cigarette burns on the interior. But otherwise, it was basically an all original car that had been kept in a garage and not driven very much.
Wow.
Because
yeah,
I mean, the car was 24 years old.
Holy cow.
And only had 150,000 miles on it.
Oh, yeah, they did not drive that.
No, because in the Midwest, you can't. I mean,
right.
this was literally a fair weather car, so it stayed in the garage, and she pulled it out occasionally. It was like a 2-owner car. We ran the Carfax on it, so it was like a 2-owner car, and the last owner had it like 10 years or something. It was ridiculous. And then the weekend that I brought it home, it snowed the very next week because Iowa.
It did. Right, of course it did.
And just to show you that this was a legit snow, it snowed, and then the snow was still there the next morning.
Well, it's not even too bad. It's just barely covered the grass. You know,
no, but it's May.
I mean,
freaking May, man.
Iowa, yo.
And it wasn't a record.
At least it was just a little dusting. It wasn't like
that's the sick part. It's like we got snow in May and we didn't break any records.
Right, because I'm sure they've seen, you know, snow on the 4th of July or some crazy stuff.
It's definitely into June.
Nice.
But I get it out and I drive it and I'm having fun, and this car is some work. So the T-tops leaked. Of course they did, because the car was 24 years old and it had T-tops, and I had always heard about those T-tops. but I had a garage, so that wasn't a big deal. I kept it inside. I didn't drive it when it rained. It overheated.
That's a
It
problem.
overheated frequently.
That's a big
Basically,
problem.
anytime the ambient air temperature was above 90 degrees, I couldn't go on the interstate. That's the only way I can phrase it. The hatch wouldn't lift. You know, the struts were gone. The hood wouldn't stay up because the struts were gone. The suspension was cushy like a boat. Now, this generation of Z never rode real hard. It didn't have really stiff springs, but clearly the suspension was worn out. It was like all original pieces, and it was worn out. It had a tape player.
Yes, y'all.
Tape player didn't work.
Oh.
Tape player would just flip. You put a tape in, and it would just spool back and forth from forward to reverse, forward to reverse, forward to reverse.
That's not even fun.
I couldn't even put in, like, I had an iPod. I couldn't even put in the tape adapter to run the iPod because so I had to get the radio adapter, which, you know, those things are a little spotty.
Them antenna joints.
Yeah, I had to get the radio adapter for the iPod where I could tune it to a station and
Tune it to the unmanned station.
Yeah.
And those are iffy. Ugh.
Yes, because in the Midwest they have radio stations. You know, it's flat and the signal goes on forever, so it's hard to find an open channel.
Oh, geez.
Or if you have an open channel in one town, by the time you get to the next town, that channel's not open. The climate control worked. It had the automatic style climate control. However, as you can see,
check it out.
I can set a set temperature and it reads the ambient temperature, but I can't see the screen that shows where the air is going because that part of the screen's dead. Also, if you set it to air conditioning, this was funny. You set it to air conditioner, it would randomly switch vents. It would switch from face vent to floor vent to face vent to floor vent, just sort of willy-nilly. I was like, something's
and
broken
to think,
there.
this was like state of the art.
This was state of the art in 1989.
This was like the hottest, newest, techiest thing ever.
This one didn't talk though. This one did not have the voice. Please shut your door, or you know, your door is ajar. This one didn't talk, although you could get that in some trim levels. What else was broken this thing? The steering wheel, the volume controls on the steering wheel did not work. Nor did the radio or scan button. The cruise control did, but nothing on this side.
Again, I'm very impressed that there were steering wheel controls.
Again, this car was state of the art in 1989. It was the hot shit.
Yeah.
So
although
the plan.
I have steering wheel controls on my car now, and I can't half figure them joints out, but whatever.
The plan was slacking. Anyway,
Fire.
so this is a Fairlady 200ZR, which is a Japanese version of the 300, of what we call the 300ZX. And it's got this engine in it, which is a RB20 DET ceramic turbocharger. This was the engine that was used in the GTS version of the Skyline. Which means nothing to most folks in the United States. But if you're a Nissan nerd, you know that this was the last inline six Z.
What does that mean?
So the original Z, the 240, 260, 280, used what they call an L series engine, the L24, L26, and the L28. The 280ZX used a turbocharged version of the L28. When the Z31 came in, they started using V6 engines. And in America, we only had the V6 exclusively. You had the 3-liter V6, the VG30, or you had the 3-liter V6 turbo, the VG30 ET? Yeah. But in Japan, they had this lovely RB20, which was an inline 6-cylinder borrowed from the Skyline because I don't know why, but it was great because the RB series engine is a lot more stout than the L series. It was designed with motorsports in mind, and it is a tough some bitch.
Mm.
Can make a whole bunch of power if you turn up the boost and the fuel. For instance, its big brother, the RB26, in street trim made quote unquote 270 horsepower, but in racing applications would make between 500 and 600, with basically only some electronic changes and cams and injectors. It's a nasty sumbitch. So my plan was, I was going to buy me an RB20, which I did. That's it right there.
It is.
And I was going to put that RB20 in my US spec 300ZX and make me a homegrown 200ZR.
But what had happened was,
because I was used to playing games with Nissans, Nissans and engine swaps and part swaps are, because the 240SX, the 300ZX, and the Skyline share a bunch of components. Unfortunately, between USDM, US domestic market, and JDM, Japan domestic market, some things are different for a lot of reasons. Forget about the right-hand drive, left-hand drive thing.
Yeah.
The RB series engine was not designed to go in the Z31. The Z31 was designed with the V6 in mind. So in order to make the RB fit, you had to have a different front lower suspension cross member, because that's where the engine cradle connects. So I needed a different cross member. I needed a different set of engine mounts. I needed a different set of transmission mounts. I needed a different drive shaft. All these custom parts that Nissan made that were never available in the United States. And my engine and transmission only came with an engine and transmission. So I was fucked.
Screwed.
Now I could have bought some custom made parts or really dug around,
done some stuff. Yeah.
Gray market, because the engine's a gray market engine. I'm not gonna lie about that. Did I buy it from Canada? I don't know if I got it from the West Coast. I bought it off eBay. That's all you need to know. I don't remember if I got it on the West Coast or in Canada, but this engine was never used in a production vehicle in the United States, so it has no reason to be imported here except for guys like me.
Right.
That said, I sold the engine after I sold the car because I bought the Silver Streak, the 350Z, for my 40th birthday. Not really. Technically, I bought it for my 41st birthday, but I bought the Silver Z, and I decided I didn't need to have two Zs. So I I didn't sell it. I donated it to a charity. I took the tax right off. And then I sold the engine on eBay. So that was the White Whale, my unfortunate ownership experience with a 300ZX vintage, beautiful, white, pristine, undamaged Z31 that I owned for 2.5 years.
And there it is.
And there it is. Thank you for watching Cocktails and Crankshafts. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell icon, and we'll see you soon with new content.